Welcome to Making Disciples 101, a Grow video series on the basics of soul winning for you and your local church. Now, Mark, we've talked about the importance of doing good works and softening the soil of the heart, but how do we do that kind of work as a church family? How can a local church awaken spiritual interests in their community?
Well, very good question. In the same way, as you mentioned, that we seek to soften the soil of the heart by showing compassion to individuals on that individual level, a church needs to be involved in church-wide community ministry.
Okay. Now, one of the things when you talk about doing something as a church, one of the problems that sometimes happen is this: we should do this, but whenever we do something, oftentimes it doesn't happen.
Right.
Because what we need to have is start with choosing a leader. Pick someone, appoint a leader, elect a leader, nominate, however you get the process, but get someone in place who can be the point person who's going to be responsible for following through and making these stated goals actually happen.
Right, and then you need to have that leader schedule regular events like health ministries. You could have an ongoing health seminar or a health expo or a supper club. In fact, it's better to have something that is an ongoing or repeating type of event because it gives you the opportunity of mingling with the same people and building relationships.
Well, and like you mentioned, health ministry things, those are powerful because we know that health is that wonderful entering wedge that can do good for people and also, make them more receptive to gospel truth. But there might be some other needs in the community too. Maybe it would be good to go talk to some of the civic leaders in your local town and just find out what are some needs in the area that we could be a blessing for and put on some helpful programming for the people in our neighborhoods.
Absolutely. I've known people who've done that with much success. And while you may not be able to you talk to the community leaders and get some ideas, you may not be able to do everything they suggest, but certainly your church can zero in on some of those recommended needs of the community and seek to bless the community by planning projects that meet those needs that were shared with you from the leaders, and then take those opportunities again to build relationships with people in the community and the community leaders to show that you desire their good, just as Christ did.
And while we're talking about this, we shouldn't just say that we're going to have a person who's going to not only discover these needs but also implement them, but that person needs to make sure they're not doing it all by themselves.
That's right.
There needs to be a plan and a process to make sure that every member is involved in these church-wide community outreach things. So whether you're doing a health ministry event or some sort of community service project, humanitarian ministries like going down and helping at the homeless shelter or putting on finance seminars or parenting seminars, there's lots of group activities that every member can have a part to play in.
That's right, and I think it's important in the context of what we're talking about to realize and remember, there's a statement Ellen White makes about showing disinterested benevolence. And sometimes there are people who read that to say what we need to do when we minister to people, it needs to be a no strings attached kind of thing, which is true in the sense that we're not doing it for personal gain or expecting anything from individuals. They can choose whatever way they want to go. But what it doesn't mean is that I'm not going to take the opportunity to share the gospel, because as a Christian, I know that Christ is going to be the answer to everything that they need, and I don't want to withhold that as I'm seeking to minister. Notice this statement from the book Testimonies for the Church, Volume 6. It's on page 327, and it says, when properly conducted, speaking in terms of the health ministry, when properly conducted, the health work is an entering wedge, making a way for other truths to reach the heart. So you see that the ministry is, whether it be health or whatever else, is seeking to enter in as an avenue to share the truth of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Amen. So in your local church, let's look around and try to find some ways where we can actually replicate that ministry of Jesus who went about doing good so we can bless the community, but even more so that we can build bridges for eternal rewards. So may the Lord bless your efforts and grow your church.